January 2011. I was the CFO at D. Merton, a very profitable high-tech company with revenues of over 400 million. D. Merton's fortunes had been boosted a few years earlier when it acquired the S1 technology behind a revolutionary radar system. The launch of S1A, our first system, had surpassed all expectations and was followed by 2 more successful versions. I was preparing in January 2011 for the first board meeting to be chaired by Roger Tillman. Roger had been appointed to succeed our long-standing chairman, who had retired through ill health. We'd all been surprised, as we'd expected an appointment from within the existing board. Richard Dalton had arrived as CEO 2 years previously, just before the launch of S1C. While the board had been criticized for the size of Richard's remuneration package, he had delivered. Impressive sales for S1C, solid results from other divisions, and a string of strategic acquisitions. His deferred share bonuses meant that Richard's focus was still on long-term share price growth. At the end of 2010, D. Merton's rivals had launched a range of new systems. But our next generation S1D system promised to be a game changer and was only a few months away from release. We thought everything was in place for a successful future. But how wrong we all were.
I met last week with Chris Perry, the company's new head of IT. He was concerned about the robustness of the company's defences against attack. Given the value in our innovative designs...
But my committee considered the results of penetration testing only a few months ago, just before Chris arrived. And this didn't raise any significant issues.
But the firm doing the testing was the same firm that designed the defences, and the testing had been confined to the main design database.
Wouldn't that be the main target of any cyber attack?
Of course, but attackers will look for any weak access point across our system.
So what are you proposing?
I think we need an independent assessment of the company's defences to cyber attack across all our systems. As the lead partners rotating off, will your committee be considering whether TYSL should be reappointed as auditors next year? Might make sense to freshen things up a bit after such a long mandate.
Yes, it's all in hand. I've already asked for a proposal. Hello.
Just give her time. Liz thought she'd be appointed chair. And while she has her supporters, including me, the nominations committee thought you were the stronger candidate. She just thinks with this cyber thing that you're already questioning her judgment.
Why do the auditors think that there's an impairment trigger?
The fall in S1A sales. I've been asked to produce a spreadsheet showing cash flow forecasts justifying the current value.
But Tom is currently negotiating a couple of big deals to install S1A systems.
That'll help. But the current value can only be supported by including revenue from S1B and S1C. The auditors have queried whether that's appropriate given how much the technology has been developed away from the original. With S1A revenue only, we're looking at a material write-down.
Well, I hope you push back hard. We can't take another big hit like that. We only just hit our profit target.
I'm hardly the right person to argue how much of the original technology is used.
Well, shall I get one of our tech boys to give them the assurance they need?
Does anyone here know what an orange peel paraboloid is? No, neither did I. Apparently all 3 systems had one, demonstrating their similarities. I don't mind admitting that I left that meeting completely baffled, and I don't believe I was the only one.
So, without including S1B and S1C sales in the forecast, a significant impairment would have been required?
Correct. The forecast revenue for S1A looks generous to me, given last year's sales and the new models on the market.
There appears to be a good market among poorer countries that can't afford the latest models. The company is currently negotiating multiple S1A sales with 2 smaller countries.
How definite are these deals?
I've seen signed letters of intent.
Not binding then. But I guess it comes down to how comfortable you are that the newer systems rely on the original technology.
The technology is pretty complex, but we met with the head of technology and came away with sufficient assurance that the S1B and S1C systems are still built around the original technology.
Well, I'm not sure any of us are in a position to second-guess the experts, or your judgment that there's a sufficient link.
Someone's in a good mood. Did you hear? He's standing for senior partner. I'm told he's got a good chance. How did you find your first audit?
Oh, too many long nights, too many spreadsheets.
Tell me about it.
I was wondering, how did that issue get resolved in the end? Those payments to Primantel that I showed you?
I mentioned them to Patrick. He met with Richard and got the assurances he needed. I think Richard confirmed that Primantel's engagement had ended.
Was Primantel not a related party?
Well, you told me that the sister had resigned before Primantel was engaged. And Richard told Patrick that none of his family had any continuing interest in Primantel. Enough about that. We're not here to talk about work.
Has everyone had a chance to read the consultant's report? Chris, can you introduce this, please?
Thank you, Roger. The consultants have carried out over 20 different pen tests, analysing a range of vulnerabilities, including browser exploits, DOS attacks, phishing...
Just the findings and the options, please.
Okay, sure. The tests have identified 50 serious flaws in our defences across all systems, including the design database. We're particularly vulnerable because we have 4 different IT systems running within the group, inherited from our acquisitions, and each of them has different levels of protection.
And there are 2 options.
Yes. The first option is a replacement of the central parts of our existing infrastructure. This would take 9 months and involve the outsourcing of some key IT functions.
Won't outsourcing weaken our defences further?
No. Not if we use reputable providers and are careful about what functions we outsource. The second option is upgrading our existing infrastructure. This would happen over a period of about 2 to 3 years.
No outsourcing?
Correct, but this is a patch rather than an overhaul. Aside from the cyber risk, we have a pressing need to unify our systems.
We have funding issues.
Option 2 spreads the cost and the cash flow impact over a longer period, so it's manageable. Option 1 is more expensive and involves a big upfront cash outlay. As we're at the limit of our current facilities, it would mean...
Renegotiating with the bank and higher borrowing costs.
Has someone actually managed to access the systems?
Well, no, but the number of malicious attempts has dramatically risen over the past 12 months.
All unsuccessful?
Yes.
Any more questions for Chris? No? Thanks, Chris. So, any other views?
It's not something I have any experience of, or frankly understanding. Until I read this report, I thought phishing was something you did with a rod.
I'm struggling too. It's not clear to me how real this risk is, but I'm concerned about extending the bank facilities.
I'm getting the sense that I'm the only one favouring the first option. Okay, let's go with option 2, but on the basis that the project starts as soon as possible.
Would you have understood these issues better than D. Merton's directors? How many of you would have voted for option 2? Okay. The committee's recommendation that TYSL be reappointed as auditors for the next year was also accepted, despite Roger favouring a change. The committee had been persuaded by the proposal that Sarah Hancock would lead next year's engagement. Now, Sarah had been senior manager when Patrick Lyon took over as engagement partner and had subsequently made partner herself. I shared Liz's belief that this was the ideal combination. A new perspective, but from someone who understood how the company operated.
So, will this official who requested it get his hands on the charitable donation?
I don't know. You did say sales of S1A should be a priority. We could fund the donation by making a payment to Premintel.
I don't know about that. Remember the audit partner asking me questions about my connection to Premintel.
You said he accepted all your assurances. Didn't even ask for any reports. We could make smaller payments, reduce the attention.
It's still risky.
Do we have a choice?